Alright, welcome back to Terraria. Today I'm doing something very simple, but also something I should have done ages ago. I'm relocating this NPC prison and just overall kind of an eyesore building to separate little NPC areas. Like for example, I don't remember everyone off the top of my head, but I know the nurse and the arms dealer like the desert, and then there's obviously the angler who likes the sea, but I guess I'd put him in the real sea, not the sulfuric or whatever. And you've got the truffle who has yet to move in, but I've got him a little house here. Hopefully he moves in down there. And I think there's other NPCs that like this place, or at least like the underground enough that they think the truffle is good enough for that. And then you have the dryad and the witch doctor who like the jungle. You know, they're great. But yeah, I just have to relocate some of these people. You know, I haven't done it in like a long time, and I also have to set up the forest pylon. I just want to set up pylons because it has been really annoying to deal with traveling all over the place. You know, I go to the jungle a lot for really many things, you know, fighting golem, fighting plantaras, looking for chlorophyte, or looking for like hallowed ore because that's down there as well. And then sometimes I want to go to the dungeon, so an easier way to get there would be, well, there isn't much of an easier way to get there, but I could figure that out. But there's also a pylon down here, the Neon Veil pylon, which takes me straight to the underworld. And if I properly set that up, you know, I properly set up a forest pylon, I can go there whenever I want. If I properly set up a jungle one, boom, boom, I can go from here to here to here to here to here. The only place that is kind of not as great is here. I mean, I guess I could put one in the snow, but that's not even that much closer. The snow's quite close. So yeah, maybe I have to figure that out at some point. But for now, I'm just building some basic houses like these, you know, just like the most basic NPC house in Terraria, because I do not want to make anything complicated. And it's really just to set up the pylons in the first place. And then I'll harvest, you know, this whole NPC prison for some materials as I go as well. And hopefully it all goes well. I'm going to have like a guide up on my, I don't have a second screen, but I'll just tab in and out looking at a guide of where to actually put these guys. Because some of them I do know, like this is forest, and I think the guide is forest as well, or he has no preference. Desert, I think desert. And then, or actually I think he doesn't like him, so anywhere he's not at, he'll like something like that. The golfer, I think, likes the tinkerer. He likes someone. I don't even know. I think the golfer actually likes the ocean enough so that you can get an ocean pylon with the angler. But that's enough talk. Let me start building in the desert because it's the closest biome I have to me. And I also do know 2 NPCs that will happily live there and hopefully provide a pylon for me. So here we are, the desert. There's not much to see here. I just realized I disabled my minimap. Kind of need that. But I'm going to flatten out an area, probably right around here. This seems good to me. Just flatten it out. Boom, boom, boom. I'll probably build more than 2 houses here, but for the first bit, I'll just do 2 houses. You know, it's not really necessary to do more than 2 for now, but just like so. And I won't like sit here and build every single house like on camera and make you watch it. I will speed most of the building up. But this first one, I guess I'll just leave in, you know, so you get an idea of what I'm doing. Although it's kind of self-explanatory. I'm just building houses for NPCs. It's not very exciting, is it? But you kind of have to do it in every run if you want to have, I guess, an optimized run. Again, not necessary in the slightest. Like you could live your life without having the NPC pylons, but I want to do this and it seems to be pretty helpful in the long run. And then, so normally I would stack these, but that gets kind of annoying, and I kind of want to stack a different house there. Kind of like stack, and then maybe like stack above, like stair, and stair, something like that. I don't know. I might do that. Sounds kind of corny, cheesy, but it could be doable. It could look nice. I could make it look nice. Of course, there are mobs that want to bother me though, but luckily anything in the desert is basically not even hard mode, so that's quite nice. So yeah, same basic layout for every single one of these, although I think this one might be smaller than the other, which kind of bothers me. I'll fix that off cam. You're gonna have to deal with that if it bothers you, just for now. I swear it will be fixed at some point in the future, probably like right after I cut to some other place where I'm building, but for now, this will have to do. They live together, and once they are here and like actually settled in, I'll be able to buy the pylon and, you know, happy days from there. So the next biome in the logical sequence would be, oh, Blood Moon. Interesting. Wow, I haven't seen one of those in a while. They shouldn't be too tough. I mean, I know the Blood Moon gets tougher in hard mode, but we've also done the Solar Eclipse, which I think is just a harder Blood Moon anyways. But yeah, we're going to the jungle because there are 3 NPCs that actually like living here. I think this does count as the Hallow, by the way, because of the background. I'm hoping it does, because there are some NPCs that like the Hallow, so definitely have to make some houses for them as well. But the jungle is a simple one. The Witch Doctor and the Dryad, and I think there's one more that I'm forgetting. Weirdly enough, it's the Painter. The Painter likes the jungle. I'm not sure where exactly that stems from. I think I'm going to build back here, just flatten it out, but I'm going to speed this up so you don't have to sit through me actually building NPC houses. Again, it's just kind of boring, isn't it? Alright, with the jungle houses done, I'm not sure if it's going to count it as a jungle, by the way, because look at the background. It's rainbow, which doesn't really add up with my surroundings, but hey, the game knows what it knows. But yeah, it's kind of annoying building during the blood moon. I mean, all these turtles are spawning because of the increased spawn rate due to the blood moon, so it's just really annoying to deal with these guys. If I was a melee build, though, I'd be so happy. I'd be like, dang, look at all these chances for turtle shells. I actually just got one right then. I have 3. I'd be like, wow, I'm gonna get Beetle armor so easily. But like, I just do not care. So with that in mind, I'm gonna sleep through the blood moon really quickly, and I'm gonna snap back to daytime when this is all over and I can build in peace. All right, the blood moon is over, but it's raining now, but that's not really an issue. The next place on the list is technically the Hallow, but I think I've already dealt with that in my own way. It might be a Hallow housing that I just set up and I did not realize it, but you know what? It works out either way. But aside from the Hallow, the next place would naturally be the ocean. Actually, let me check here. See the little exclamation mark? That means desert pylon. He also sells a rifle scope. Oh, and a sniper. What? He just sells these things? Bro. Well, that's pretty cool. I mean, in vanilla, I'd be sat here crying, so I'd have to grind for both of those. But, I mean, even though I did technically grind, it wasn't for that. It was for the paladin shield, which took me a while. Speaking of that video, check it out if you haven't. I actually quite like that video. It's short, sweet for the most part, and a little bit of fun, in my opinion. At least a lot more fun than building houses, to be honest. Why is the pirate here? Actually, why is he here? Because I didn't tell him to come here. Alright, well, assuming this falls under Hallow, the Stylist likes the Hallow, and the Wizard likes the Hallow. So I'll check back on them when they are moved in, but the pirate has to go to the ocean. Same thing with the Angler, and I think there's one other NPC that actually does like the ocean. I think I mentioned the Golfer earlier, but he doesn't actually have to live in the ocean. He's kind of like one of those where it's like he likes the Angler, but not so much the ocean. He's like neutral on the ocean, but the Angler he's like pretty cool with, so that enables Ocean Pylon, but you don't need to do that. You can do many other things, you know. I think the Golfer actually likes the forest the most, which works out. You know, I can build him a nice little house for himself. But here we are in the ocean, and it's corrupted. That's something you never really want to see. I gotta clean this place up. Might have to do that off camera though, because I don't want to do corruption or crimson cleaning on camera. That is probably the most boring thing I could possibly do in my life. I mean, this is boring enough. You know, I actually like building stuff in this game. It's, you know, it's fun little chores to do in this game. Building has a purpose. Even in Minecraft, building has a purpose, but like a little less so in this game. Building is like really nice. Like, it's simple, 2D, you just go through with it, and it's relaxing. Alright, this should work, although I think it will say it doesn't have a solid ground. Yeah, so I actually have to fix that. And to fix that, I just have to do this, I'm pretty sure. It should work now, unless I'm mistaken. There you go. Yeah, it's because technically these are doors, which is why NPC prisons work. They're technically doors, and the NPCs need at least like 1 block to stand on or something like that. And yeah, platforms do not work for that, because apparently they fall through, even though they don't know how to really use platforms in the first place. But this should be good. Let's have the Angler. That's not the Angler. Where is he? Here he is. Angler and Pirate move in here. And I've checked. I'm actually mistaken about the Stylist. She does not actually like the Hallow or like love the Hallow or anything like that. The ocean is her favorite place, so that's totally my bad. Don't know how I mixed those two up. I think the princess is the one that likes the Hallow, which would make sense. She's like pink and stuff, but so is the Stylist, so I guess I can see why I mixed that up. But just quickly build this house for her. I mean, it should be simple. All right, house done. Stylist actually moves in here. The Hallow is the party girl, who I don't think I have quite yet, unfortunately, but it's fine. So the other Hallow lover that I was missing was actually the tavern keep, aside from the party girl. The nurse actually does like the Hallow as well, or loves it. However, kind of want to keep her with the arms dealer, but the wizard was selling the pylon, I think, but he no longer sells it because not enough people. You can't just have one guy that loves to place here. You have to have at least 2 people here, or else it's not really a town, which is technically what the pylon system is. So that does count as Hallow, so I might as well build some jungle houses here. And because I'm low-key running out of regular wood, I think I'm gonna build it out of mahogany wood, which there's a lot of here. But there's no real great terrain here, plenty of water, which is kind of annoying. But I mean, if I go past here, yeah, it's just crimson. So I guess I'll just have to make this work somehow, but let me get to building. So with the jungle houses done, I think this one is smaller than the other. I can fix that really quickly. Honestly, I can't tell half the time, but it does look a little smaller. Don't quote me on that because I'm not entirely sure. But if I just ruined it, I ruined it. But it did look a little shorter. Either way, the people I'm assigning to this house are the Dryad and the Witch Doctor. I think the Dye Trader likes this place too, but I'll hold off for now because I'm kind of running out of wood. And I want to set that up later. But I'm going to go check on the ocean pylon really quickly and then go to work on the final area, which is the underground. I'm going to try to use the truffle area. Hopefully that works. If it doesn't, kind of a shame, but it is technically underground cavern layer as well. So yeah, I mean, they like the other places like the underworld. So I guess they should like it despite the fact that it's not technically a regular cavern. But hey, you know, they like the underground. But yeah, having a look here, we can see Ocean Pylon is available. So now we can connect this, hook it up to our thingy over here. And then we've got those over there. And then we've got pending people there. So all that's left, so you can see, this is why I wanted this. Boom, look at that. And then boom. And then I have the magic mirror, obviously, for this place. But it'd be nice to have a forest pylon too. I think it should be available now because there's no one that she hates here. Or not. I'd assume she still does not like the demolitionist and probably a lot of these guys. So I think the underground should be Goblin Tinkerer, Demolitionist, Mechanic, and maybe Cyborg. Scratch that. The Cyborg likes the snow, which I guess, sure, bro. But yeah, I'm gonna head down to the cavern layer with some wood and finish the final few houses. I'll probably just make these out of rich mahogany again, or maybe I'll use some other block. Doesn't really matter. I can always replace it later. The replace block feature in this game is amazing, so I can use that if I really need to. But I'm going to head on down, make the final 3 houses in the truffle area. If it doesn't work, I'll relocate it off camera. But yeah, this will be the last 3. Cutting in really quickly, there's a truffle worm right there. Unfortunately, no bug catcher on me, so I cannot catch it. That's pretty cool to see it down here. Haven't seen one in a while, so yeah, there it is. It's just chilling, which is cool. But yeah, I'm going to go back to building. Oh. Well, that's why no one's been moving in down here. The housing is technically corrupted because, yes, it is right next to Crimson. But yeah, I'll have to clean that off cam. I definitely have to clean a lot of this off cam. But there is another truffle biome up here with some nice space. So I can grab all of my materials and relocate right over there in 1 second. Alright, so here I am. Oh, there's a lot of water here. Bit of an issue. Obviously, not the end of the world. And I can actually make quite a little town down here if they like it. But what I can essentially do is just like build like 1 or 2 houses here, and then build like 2 here, and then maybe like build into here. The thing is, if I put time into this, I'm kind of fearful that the truffle doesn't actually count as underground. So I'm going to do it anyways because I think it looks cool. But yeah, this could definitely go wrong, I guess. Alright, and that's that. There's also a Topaz Bunny right there, but hopefully the truffle moves in the next couple of moments, but I can check on them. Happiness, perfect. The lack of an... Oh, the underground is nice. Okay. Yeah, perfect. Oh, it's a mushroom pylon. It works, though. Works all the same. It's underground, and they like it. They do not care, which is great. I also do not think they like overcrowding, but I don't like the underground. She doesn't? She likes the snow biome. Interesting. Well, I put her here because she loves the goblin. I know that for a fact. And I just wanted to keep them together. But I might move the goblin over here somewhere. I might have like a a double doorway, like door, or like maybe like an elevated house up here on stilts, and then this can be someone else's home, like the demolitionist. But I'll do that off camera. I also have to deal with all the crimson and corruption, which is really annoying, but I'll do it. But yeah, that's it for this video. Again, pretty boring, pretty menial, boring, just tedious tasks, but I wanted to do them, and hopefully it's not too long of a video. Should only be like 15 minutes at most, if I kept the yap down to a minimum, which I think I did. But either way, thank you for watching the video as always. If you did enjoy, check out some of the other Terraria videos. I'd personally recommend the Paladin's Shield one. That one was pretty good. I'll link it on screen, but I'll also link the playlist. You know, just check out what you want. I don't only play Terraria, but, you know, Terraria, I like Terraria. Let me stop yapping. I'll see you later.